But I'll,
Oh, you can't be in here. Go. You can't be in here. Come on. Go, go, go.
Scott,
Yes, ma'am.
I know it says that it's live on YouTube, but I'm trying to log in from the BOCES website to YouTube site and I can't.
Okay, let me take a look at it.
Okay.
Good evening.
Good evening. Hey, Mr. Jennings, how are you? Steve Boucher here.
Great. Good to see you, Steve.
How's it going, sir?
Every day's an adventure.
Every day's adventure. Good. You're soaring to new heights up there. Are you back on full campus, Tim? Everybody back?
Yes. Yes.
Good. I mean, you had half the people there almost the whole time.
We did.
That's good. That's good. Good. It's interesting seeing the statistics that I read somewhere that they thought originally that the elementary school would be fine and resistant and you could just bring them along and leave the high schoolers home. But it kind of turned out in some schools to be the opposite, where there was more transmission amongst the littler ones than the high school.
Huh? Not yet.
That was really incredible.
I want to take a moment to welcome everybody to the Oneida-Herkimer-Madison BOCES annual meeting in the year 2021. Some people are still loading into the Zoom, and we'll continue to allow them to enter and welcome everyone that is here. This is another virtual annual meeting. It's my second annual meeting as a district superintendent at Oneida BOCES, and both of them have been virtual. And I've heard amazing things about the in-person annual meeting, and I hope that next year we'll be able to do this in person. As you were entering in, and right before we began, we had the pleasure of listening to a wonderful music performance by the Holland-Patton School District Jazz Ensemble. And I would just ask if Superintendent Jason Evangelist would like to speak on behalf of the music program at HP and the students.
Thank you, Dr. Kilburn. Welcome this evening. Thank you to our BOCES Board of Education members and our Regional Board of Education members. We appreciate it. This is something that we've been hoping to do for the last couple of years. We would love to have been in person and see everybody, but we're certainly honored to have been asked to do that. And you saw a performance from our high school jazz ensemble. We're led by Mr. Vicente and our incredible Holland-Patton Central School District music team. And I do want to, before I introduce our students, just to share tonight that we have been recognized as been named a best community for music education by the NAM Foundation. This is our 5th consecutive year. So that is certainly an attribute to our wonderful music department, to our administration, to our Board of Education, and also to our students and families for the support. For the jazz ensemble that you were able to see, we had Sierra Laguna, Alexander Dobreski, Richard Zielinski, Caden Rollins, Carter Williams, Andrew Kanzlertz, Caleb Fisher, Colin Rollins, Robert Clemens, Baldwin, and Michael Van Hatten. So certainly you were able to see a wonderful performance. I do want to thank Assistant Superintendent Hill for helping to arrange for us to be presenting tonight, and also to Scott Morrison of Technology Department and Public Relations Department for coming and filming us doing that. So I certainly appreciate that. With us as a member of our music team is Giovanni Maganali. And he is here tonight representing, as we do have another, our regional music team throughout our entire region is meeting. And Brian Presenti, who you saw lead that, is the president of that organization. So they're currently meeting right now. So he couldn't be here, but we certainly thank Giovanni for being here and supporting our wonderful students and our program.
That's wonderful. And Mr. Evangelist, I have to say I was thrilled not only to hear that jazz ensemble play, but I want to let people know that as we exit the meeting, we will hear from the string ensemble also playing this evening. And I just think it's such a great opportunity to hear as close to live music from children as I think we're going to get for a while anyway, or we have recently. It was really nice. And thank you so much to the students and to Holland-Patton for kicking us off that way.
Well, thank you. And I would just like to quickly recognize our string ensemble, Thomas Briel, Heather Buchanan Wise and Holly Buchanan Wise, Nico Klein, Ariana Lang, Jessica Landman, Gracie Planish, and Logan Kuda as part of our string ensemble. So you'll be able to see that as Dr. Kilburn said as we end the meeting. So thank you again for the opportunity. We're very happy, very proud of our program, and love to show it off when we can. And they're an amazing team. So thank you.
Thank you. They really are. So next, we're going to turn the meeting over to Cooperative Board President, Mr. Stephen Boucher.
Hello, everybody. I'm Steve Boucher, the Cooperative Board President. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We're glad to have you all here tonight. And I believe the first thing on the agenda is to go ahead and call the meeting to order, and then we'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. So if you'll all join us in the Pledge of Allegiance, I think we'll see a flag here soon. There we are. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation,
under God,
Indivisible,
with liberty
and
justice for all.
Awesome. Thank you very much. And thank you for the flag. Thank you for the flag. That was a nice addition there. We need that. So what I would like to do is just make a couple comments as we start our meeting. I wrote a couple words down. I know these meetings are difficult. I wish we were all in person, but we're going to all make do. So when I thought about the cooperative, when I think about the cooperative board, the BOCES board, it's the cooperative board, a cooperative board of educational services. And of course, the C stands for cooperative. And considering the challenges that we've had in the past year with all the schools, the idea of having a cooperative education service is more important than ever, obviously. So as we join our annual meeting, I'd be remiss if I didn't take a moment and thank everyone for all their hard work over the past year. You know, certainly the children of our area are truly lucky and blessed to have so many passionate and caring people working on their behalf. So we're all very blessed to have all of you. Although there is light at the end of the tunnel with everything that's going on here, we certainly still are in that tunnel and there's much to be done. But I know that all the stakeholders that are involved with our efforts are confident that the people in attendance tonight are going to rise to the occasion as they always have. On behalf of the BOCES Board of Education, I would like to thank our BOCES leadership and the whole organization for all that they do. And with that, I think we can proceed with the meeting, Dr. Kilburn.
Wonderful. So at this time, I believe, Mr. Boucher, you'll be recognizing board members who are not going to be candidates for re-election and are currently seated at this time.
Correct. Yes. So there's, of course, myself, Steve Boucher. I represent Remsen, and I've been on the BOCES board for 7 years. We also have Mrs. Michelle Anderson from Oriskany, and she's been a BOCES member for 3 years.
Feel free to wave if your name is called.
Yes. Oh, I apologize. Yes, I forgot to say, when we say your name, please wave to everybody. So for those, someone might not know you. I'm sure everyone does, but just in case. Okay, so there's Michelle. Then we have Yvonne Irving from Utica. She's been on our BOCES board for the past 6 years. Yvonne? Okay. And then we have Michael J. Moore from Clinton, who's been on the BOCES board for 26 years.
Wow.
Outstanding. Thank you, Mr. Moore. And we also have Gary P. Nelson from Holland Patton. He's been our board member for over 15 years now, 15 years.
Hello.
Hello, Gary.
Video's off, but I'm here.
You're always here. I like that. Thank you, Gary. Then we have Mr. Anthony Nicotera from Sequoia Valley, and he's been with us over a year now. Mr. Nicotera? There he is. Very good. Okay, then we have Dr. Gary Porcelli from New York Mills, and he's been on the board for 13 years.
Hello, folks.
Hello, Gary.
There's the doctor, the good doctor. And then we have Mr. John Salerno from Whitesboro, and he's been on a BOCES board for 19 years.
You there?
We have John? Okay. And then last but not least is Mr. Russell Stewart from Waterville, who's been on the BOCES board for over 20 years. Mr. Stewart?
Good evening, everyone. How you doing?
Hello, Russ.
Outstanding. Thank you, Russ. So there's our board members who are not in the election process. And now I would like to, with Dr. Kilburn, is it okay? I'll go ahead and introduce the candidates, the new candidates for the cooperative board.
Yes, but before we do that, I would just ask Mr. Morris, if you could go back to gallery view so that if a new candidate for the board is called, they can wave and we can see them, because we might have some new faces.
Okay. Now, are we ready?
Yeah, so Mr. Boucher, you can call off the name and maybe tell us a little bit about the different candidates. And if you're a candidate and you hear your name called, please wave so we can all see who you are.
Now, I plan on bringing the sheets up on my computer as we go, but the first candidate I have is the wonderful Miss Doreen Corbin from Brookfield. And Doreen has served a good many years on our board. She is a lifelong member of Brookfield. She went to the local Brookfield school. She attended Oneida BOCES, taking cosmetology, and she is a business owner, and she is a licensed hairdresser, and she's been a wonderful member of our board for a good many years. So please say hello to Miss Doreen Corbin.
Yeah, unfortunately, Doreen did reach out to us just recently. Something did come up and she was unable to make it tonight. So certainly many people are familiar with Doreen.
Perfect. Okay, and then let's go to my good friend Elaine Falvo from New Hartford. Elaine it does it all. I mean, she's been there and she's done it. She's been a great leader prior to the last board president here that we had on the board. She's in her 10th term in the cooperative board, and she's up for re-election through New Hartford, the Board of Education. She holds a BA degree from Utica College and a master's in science from Syracuse University. She's certainly been a pillar of industry and in her businesses with her and her husband, H.J. Brandley's Corporation, which we're very familiar with. She's built a nice business and done a lot of great community service as well. She started her educational leadership in 1979. In 1979, she was elected to the New Hartford Board of Education, where she served for 13 years, 3 as the board president and 2 as the vice president. She's also the governor appointed trustee of Mohawk Valley Community College, and she's been on the board. She's been a chair there for 6 years of her tenure. She also serves as a director for both St. Luke's, FACS and St. Luke's, and the Mohawk Valley Network. So you name it, Elaine does it. She's been a great participant and a great leader for us at the BOCES board. So please welcome Miss Elaine Falvo.
Good evening, everyone, and I'm very honored to be able to serve the BOCES and the communities around us.
Wonderful.
Well, we're glad you're still here and still running for another term, because you do great work. Thank you, Elaine. All right, we're going to move on to Miss Heather Johnson is a new member coming to us from our friends in Westmoreland School District. Heather lives obviously in the Westmoreland School District, and her and her husband Craig, along with her children Grace and Hayden, and they've been residents in the Westmoreland School District since 2005. She graduated from SUNY Oswego with a bachelor's degree, and then she earned a master's in reading in 2000, and she was teaching in Syracuse, and then also the Camden School District as well. Heather comes with a wide variety of educational experiences from both in the field and from community service, and we look forward to joining her to the BOCES board. Heather, would you like to say hello?
Yes, I look forward to this opportunity, and I'm really excited.
Outstanding, outstanding. Well, welcome. And lastly, one of our last candidates we have tonight is Mr. Joseph Habaika, who probably needs no introduction. Most people know of Joe. Joe graduated from Hamilton College back in '82 and then went to Syracuse for his law degree. And he's been a local leader and lawyer in the area for a good many years, serving on many committees and groups. He was, his list goes on and on. You'll be able to read his resume. And he's also served on the Utica School Board as well, and has decided to join us along with us with our BOCES efforts. So, Joe, you want to say hi to everybody?
Hello, everybody. I'm looking forward to coming aboard and trying to fill Yvonne's shoes. As strong an advocate as she is, I'm hoping that I can just do half of what she's done over the years.
Outstanding. Well, that's great. Thank you, Joe. Welcome. And all right, so Dr. Kilburn, there's our candidates. I think Dr. Kilburn will turn it over to, I'm tongue-tied tonight. We'll turn it over to you for Deb Kimball.
Oh, actually, wonderful. What I'm going to do right now is, Scott, if you can back up one slide, that would be perfect. Thank you. What I'd like to do is remind everyone that on April 27, 2021, as component board members, you'll have the opportunity to vote for the 4 candidates that were just introduced to you, in addition to voting on the proposed administrative BOCES budget. So that's at your particular board meeting on April 27th of 2021. I also would like to ask that in an effort for us to keep accurate minutes, you go to the chat section of your Zoom, which is down on the bottom of your screen, and you can hover over some icons. And there's an icon that looks like a comment box for like a cartoon. And if you click that, there's a box that pops up. And if you are able and can type in your name and the organization you're representing today, that would be very helpful to us. We are able to also try to find it by the way that you came into the Zoom. So if you're unable to type it in, please don't worry about it. You're also being recorded and live streamed via YouTube for the purposes of minutes for this meeting. So moving forward, this is an opportunity for us at the BOCES to start to share some of the things that we do. And if this was an in-person annual meeting, I'm told that students are able to provide some demonstrations, and we're not able to really do that, obviously, in this setting. So we thought it would be a good idea to address how BOCES can help school districts meet the continued challenge of trying to provide a high quality and comprehensive education for all students. So we'll highlight a few things, just basic information about BOCES in general, a few key facts about our BOCES, and then we have a video we've put together that is from our career and technical education. It focuses on our career and technical education students and our pathways in technology, early college, high school students. So you can kind of get a glimpse of the students and their thoughts about the programs, though they're not able to be with us live in person right now. So moving on into the next slide, this is just a little bit about the state and BOCES in general. So New York State Education Department has divided the state into 37 separate educational zones. And those zones are called sole supervisory districts. Now, our sole supervisory district exists of 12 component school districts. It's approximately 549 square miles and serves about 23,000 students. And it's called the Oneida-Herkimer-Madison Sole Supervisory District. And our next slide explains, yep, that's great, how it kind of works a little bit. Each supervisory district has a state education employee called the district superintendent, and that would be me. And in that role, I serve component boards. So I can serve boards of education and superintendent searches. I can help you with any boundary disputes. I can work with you on retreats. And I also serve the larger region. So I actually can help with state education initiatives or compliance efforts across the sole supervisory district that belongs to Oneida-Herkimer-Madison. And each sole supervisory district also has a BOCES. And as the district superintendent, I serve as the CEO of that BOCES. So for tonight's meeting, we're really going to focus on the BOCES, the cooperative that serves this sole supervisory district. So our cooperative, the Oneida-Herkimer-Madison BOCES, is led by a cooperative board, and the cooperative board represents the district, meaning the sole supervisory district, and its 23,000 students. The BOCES provides a wide array of services and programs in order to support the sustainability of education in the region. And in that effort, we work with a lot of different entities. So if you look at that logo, those concentric circles that you see on the slide, if you imagine that the BOCES is the large navy blue dot right in the middle, the navy blue dots right around it might be the school districts that we work with, the 12 districts we support directly and who participate in the cooperative. The light blue circles could represent regional agencies and state agencies and non-for-profits that we work with and engage with to support students in education. And then if you look at the far furthest outer rings, those might represent business and industry, other agencies that we partner with in an effort to develop career pathways for students. So that's one way you could conceptualize the BOCES just using our logo. Then in the third bullet, I talk about how the cooperative, your cooperative, uses a dynamic budget that expands and contracts to meet the changing needs of each component school district from year to year. So imagine that this bubble could expand out or shrink back in. And in that effort, that center circle would be the BOCES administrative budget. That's a fixed budget, just like a school district's. And that's what we're asking everyone to vote on April 27th. And once it's approved, we can't go beyond the spending in that portion of the budget. But the rest of the budget is called a program budget, and that can expand as schools need more services, often mid-year, and it can contract as schools might need less services, depending on their commitments. And we'll learn a bit more about that tonight. So we have a new vision, mission, and motto in the cooperative. And the vision really talks about providing innovative leadership programs and services in response to the emerging needs of our school districts and learners. The mission focuses on collaboration. Just as I talked about in that logo, at the BOCES, we partner with leaders in education and business, industry, government, the local community to promote inclusive practices and sustainable education for the children for their world tomorrow. And we have a motto, which is, we are better together, all of us. We are OHM BOCES. So everyone here in this meeting really is part of what BOCES is all about. So some key highlights about our BOCES this year. 100% of OHM BOCES career and technical education students graduated with a high school diploma or equivalent at the end of the 1920 school year. Nearly 2,000 college credits have been earned by students in the Pathways in Technology Early College High School. We call that PTech in the past 4.5 years. 369 students have been enrolled in Bridges programming at Oneida BOCES. Now, Bridges programming is the self-contained special education programming that we provide regionally. 1 million free meals have been served during 2020, and 1,850 staff, so those are employees from across the region, have attended professional development workshops and sessions provided by OHM BOCES during last school year. So those are some interesting tidbits. But now let's get on to the good stuff and hear from the children. So please watch this video about career and technical education and PTech.
Career and technical education creates an opportunity for students to develop skills and obtain hands-on experience to prepare for in-demand careers and higher education. Working with state-of-the-art equipment, students apply theory and practice to a wide range of real-life assignments and projects in the center's workshops and laboratories. A variety of diverse programs from a wide range of industries are offered.
This program allows you to take what you like doing outside of school and get high school credit for it. So if you like to cook at home, you're allowed to take your interest and your passion, and you're able to do that for school credit. So to be able to do what you love is really incredible.
Because it's not the typical classroom setting. You're learning in a different way, but it's prepping us to do well in college, so I feel very prepared.
Between what I've learned within just a few months here and like a whole next year, it's really helped me like seal what I'm going to do for a career and what colleges I'm going to look for, and it really does help you like make your mind up what type of career you want to have.
For this class, you don't have to want to go into automotive when you're older. You don't have to be a mechanic. You can just come here and learn whatever you want and then use that when you grow up.
The teachers are just so amazing. Like, you can really talk to them and they're always there for whatever you need.
Here we can do hands-on stuff, and I feel like we're doing a lot more of the things that we want to be doing to kind of focus on what we want to do in the future.
Breaks my day up, and I don't have that much classes at my high school, and you get to meet new people, and you all just come together with like the same interest, like you said, to do the same thing you all like to do.
It's your responsibility, so it's teaching you responsibility and how to maintain the machines and just be a good worker. It's a good experience, so you know what you're doing when you leave and get out into the industry.
With PTech, I'm laser focused on what I want in a career and what I want in my future.
Yeah, I love it. Yes, I want to be here every day if I could.
So now what I'd like to do is introduce Mr. Scott Morris. Scott Morris is currently in a transition into new administrative leadership in our organization in the area of support services.
Thank you for the introduction, Dr. Kilburn. Good evening, everybody. I want to thank you and the BOCES Cooperative Board for this new opportunity. I'm extremely excited and eager to take on additional responsibilities within the Oneida-Herkimer-Madison BOCES organization. I have recorded tonight's budget presentation for your convenience. I will now play the budget presentation. Tom Dorr, the interim assistant superintendent of administrative services, and I will be glad to answer any questions at the conclusion of this presentation. Hello and good evening. My name is Scott Morris, and I will be presenting the 2021-2022 proposed budget for the Oneida-Herkimer-Madison BOCES with you. But first, let me thank you for your time and your service to your school communities. The presentation tonight will focus on the OHM BOCES budget rationale, district commitments, historical view of BOCES budget, distribution of resources, administrative budget, our WADA, BOCES aid, and we'll go through a contract example. The budget developed at BOCES is much different than the budgets of your individual school districts. As those of you that sit on your local boards know, school district budgets once approved by your communities generally do not change. The amount approved, whether it's a $6 million budget or a $170 million budget, is the amount the district cannot exceed. The BOCES budget, on the other hand, is very dynamic and fluctuates throughout the course of the year based upon the needs and requests of the school districts. As an example, the $72.2 million budget for 2020-2021 approved by our board last year exceeds $83 million at this time based on actual requests from school districts. When we develop a budget at BOCES, the proposed amount is enlarged and estimate based on historical usage by school districts. The services that school districts contract for with BOCES will change from year to year, and as such, the commitments that a district signs up for are for the coming school year only. Throughout the course of the year, if additional services are needed, adjustments to the BOCES contract are done. Thus, the increase in our budget from the current year. When the year concludes, we reconcile the cost of the purchases with the amount the school districts paid for them. Any overage paid is returned to the school district in the form of a refund. This graph provides a historical look at the OHM BOCES budgets for the past several years in red, along with actual expenditures provided in blue. You can see that the budget continues to grow from year to year. As mentioned earlier, actual services for a year will change as the year progresses and districts encounter additional needs, as represented by the blue arrow. We look at the continued growth as a sign we are evolving with the educational world to meet the needs of our districts. This graph takes a look at the distribution of the proposed budget for 2021-2022. The first 7 items represent services that districts sign up for. The other 2 bars in red, rent and capital and administrative, are expenditures of the BOCES that are distributed to the 12 component districts. I want to point out that each of our programs provide very valuable service to our school districts. For example, the PPL Program of Professional Learning Department, though small in dollars, provides an invaluable array of services to our school districts. I would like to focus on the administrative budget for a few moments now. Again, this is the budget that component school boards will vote on April 27th. The proposed total for the 2021-2022 school year is $3,786,150, a decrease of 1.3% over the administrative budget for 2020-2021. This graph shows the consistency in the amount of administrative budget over the past several years while the overall budget continues to grow. Items in the administrative budget include costs for organization-wide functions such as the district superintendent's office, human resources and accounting functions, and the assistant superintendent for administrative services office, as well as the cost for retiree health insurance. This chart illustrates the distribution of the administrative budget among our component districts. The distribution is based on each district's proportionate share of a student tally, known as the resident weighted average daily attendance, or our WADA. The 12 slices of the pie chart represent each district's share of the charges, with Utica representing the largest piece at around 44%, and Brookfield the smallest at a bit under 1%. As with many of the services that districts contract for through BOCES, state aid is also paid to school districts for their share of the administrative budget. As referenced earlier, schools receive reimbursement from New York State for many of the services that they sign up for with BOCES, including their share of the cost of the administrative budget. The reimbursement is paid to districts in the form of state aid, or more specifically, BOCES aid. This chart provides the reimbursement ratios for each of our 12 components. You can see that on average, the reimbursement rate is approximately 75 cents on the dollar. For reference purposes, New York State provides a minimum aid ratio for BOCES services of 36%, and a maximum ratio of 90%. The last slide that I will review takes a look at services that a component district contracts with BOCES for and the net cost of the district for those services. In this example, the district paid a total of $1,638,300 for the services. A portion of these costs are disallowed for aid purposes. Many of you are familiar with the 30,000 cap on salaries that is eligible for BOCES aid. This cap has not changed for well over 2 decades, though each year there are efforts to increase it. There is no expectation that this will be increased for the coming years, you can well imagine. As a result of the unallowed costs, the aidable amount was reduced to $1,277,500. Applying the district's aid ratio of 0.764 results in reimbursement of $976,010. In addition, once costs of services are reconciled, a refund of $66,400 is paid to the district. It leaves a total aidable amount of $1,042,410. If we look at the final contract of $1,638,300, we subtract the total aidable amount of $1,042,410, we're left with a net cost of $595,890, or a net cost as a percentage of contract equal to 36%.
Great. So at this time, we're going to open up for any questions that people might have. We're going to ask, because this is taking up a few different Zoom screens to accommodate the number of people present, that if you do have a question you'd like to ask, feel free to type it in the chat. You can just write question, and Mr. Hill can watch that and call it out. And if you have the hand raised icon, we can also look out for that. Does anyone in our group today have any questions they'd like to ask? I feel like I should be playing like Jeopardy music or something in the background at this point. Okay, I'm not seeing any questions. I'm just going to wait like another 10 seconds in case anyone does, and they're frantically trying to type. So far, okay, it doesn't look, oh. Wonderful, Michelle Anderson, very lovely comment. Okay, so I don't see any questions. And with that being said, then we move over to Mr. Boucher. I think you'll need a motion from your cooperative board.
Thank you. Can you hear me okay, Dr. Kilburn?
Yes, I can.
All right, thank you very much. Okay, from the cooperative board, we will need a motion to adjourn.
I would move, so move.
Moved by Mrs. Falvo,
I'll second Michelle Anderson.
second by Michelle Anderson. Thank you. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Hearing none, we are adjourned. Dr. Kilburn, back to you.
So for many of you who heard Jason Evangelist at the very beginning, we are going to hear the Holland Patton String Ensemble play us out of this meeting. You are welcome to leave at any time. You're welcome to stay and listen. And for those of you who are watching on YouTube, please feel free to enjoy this wonderful music. And thank you everyone for coming. Thank you for your role in participating with the Board of Cooperative Educational Services here in Oneida-Herkimer-Madison BOCES.
That was awesome.
Fantastic.
That really was.
Really incredible. Wasn't that just such a joy to see? I'm
Yep.
so glad you were all able to watch it. And thank you, Holland Patton, for sharing that. I can't wait
Thank
to
you.
see the kids in person doing it in live. Thank you, everyone, again. Have a very, very good night, and thank you for attending.
Thank you.
No.
Great job, Jason.